Hi 10th graders, now that you are done writing your summative paragraphs for A Raisin in the Sun, I want to walk you through how to edit your paragraphs to make sure that your writing is super polished and academic and that you're ready to submit your summative. So here's our editing checklist that we've put together for your summative paragraphs, and I'm going to walk you through how to check and make sure that you have done all of the things on this checklist and that you're ready to submit. So first of all, the first couple things here are about the font and the spacing of our paragraphs, and I'm going to show you how to check and make sure your paragraphs are double-spaced, 12-point font, and in Times New Roman. So this is a sample summative here. First of all, we want to make sure that we delete this and write our first and last name. Put your period, whether that's period 1, period 7, or period 8. You can put the date that this is due, which is 11/27. And then you're going to want to give your paragraphs a title. So that could be something like Mama's Dream or Benita's Dream or Walter, whatever, whichever character you wrote about. A title is just a good place to tell the reader what your paragraphs are going to be all about. So, like I said, the first thing we're checking for is that our typing is in 12-point Times New Roman font. So if I look at my thesis statement, in order to check this, it looks like my font size right now is in 9, but it is in Times New Roman. So I only have to change the font size to 12 here, and it's already in Times New Roman. But now if I go down to my paragraphs, I see that this is an 11-point Arial font. So I'm going to change this to 12 and change it to Times New Roman and do the same thing down here. I want this to be Times New Roman, 12-point font. It also said that it should be double spaced. So you are going to highlight your 2 paragraphs in your thesis statement, and then you're going to go up to the top where it's this up and down arrow and it says line and paragraph spacing, and you're going to click on double. So it should look a little bit more spaced out, your typing. Okay, let's go back to our checklist and see what we need to do next. We need to make sure that our paragraphs are 400 words. The summative should be 400 words. So in order to check your word count, you're going to do the same thing where you highlight everything in your paragraphs, go up to Tools at the top, and then click on Word Count. So words, it looks like mine is 382 words. So I'm almost there to 400, but it looks like I need to add 1 or 2 more sentences to my 2 paragraphs in order to hit that 400 word count. So I want you to check your word count, make sure yours is 400. The next thing is to indent the first word of each paragraph. So paragraph number 1, in order to indent, you're going to go right before the first word, and you're going to hit the Tab key. Oh, that didn't work for some reason on mine. Why did that not work? Okay, you can also do this if your computer is not working with the Tab key. You can just click the space bar like 5 or 6 times. An indent basically just means that the first line of the paragraph is put in a little bit, so we know that that is the start of a new paragraph. So I'm just going to use the space key and indent my paragraph right there. All right, no extra space between paragraphs. You don't need to worry about this one as much because we have the paragraphs in those 2 boxes. This is a really important one here. The title of the play should be capitalized and italicized. So let me check. It looks like mine already is. If yours is not capitalized and italicized, make sure that the A, the R, and the S are capital letters, and then you'll highlight it and click this slanty I at the top, the italics. So if yours looks like that, it's not italicized, then you need to click the I to make it italicized. What is next? We also need to make sure all characters' names are capitalized. So it looks like every time that I say Asagai and Benita, those should be capital letters. That's great. These 2 are about kind of the grammar of your writing. So run-on sentences. A run-on sentence is basically when your sentence is really, really long and it's actually multiple complete sentences in one. And that means that you need to put periods after each complete sentence to shorten up your sentences. Sentence fragments are kind of the opposite of that, where a sentence is too short and it's not a complete sentence. So make sure that your sentences are complete sentences and that there's periods at the end of every sentence. You also want to make sure that your writing is done in an academic voice. So we don't want any slang or informal language. So make sure you're not typing with any like text slang. Like instead of the letter U, you should spell out Y-O-U, things like that. We also want to remove, because this is academic essay writing, we want to take out I statements. So you shouldn't say like, I chose the character Benitha. You should just take out those I statements and write, the character Benitha dreams of blah, blah, blah. You also want to make sure you have a quote in each of your paragraphs. So you should have a minimum of 2 quotes in your 2 paragraphs. Remember, they should be integrated into your own sentences. That means you introduce the quote. You have to put quotation marks around your quotes and then put the page number in parentheses after the quote and put a period outside of the citation. So I'm going to show you what all of these things look like in my paragraphs so you know what I'm talking about. So here is the first quote that I use. It says, Assegai wants to get rid of illiteracy and disease and ignorance. So the quote, this is the part directly from the play. You'll see it's in quotation marks. And then the page number is in parentheses after, page 135. Let's look at my other quote here. Here's the other quote. Look, it's in quotation marks, and then I have the page number in parentheses, and then the period actually goes after the parentheses. So this is exactly how your quotes should look in your paragraphs. I want you to make sure you have the page number and that you have your quotes in quotation marks, and do your best to introduce them into your own writing by telling us who is speaking and what they're talking about at that point in the play. All right, so this is your checklist to make sure that everything is ready to go and ready to be submitted. If you have any questions or want me to help you look over your paragraphs, please let me know.